Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome for our discussion for today. Today is 19th May 2025, Monday. We gathered here to continue our discussion on the Sastra Study Marathon. Okay, so today is Monday, so we're going to do this Nectar of Devotion, continuous studies on Nectar of Devotion. And especially, I think it's chapter 1, all right? We are on chapter 1, devotional service. So, to relish the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami. And so before we start, let's do our invocation prayer to invoke auspiciousness and also to seek blessings from all our Guru Varga, Acharyas, so that we will delve deep into this subject matter. All right? So let's do our invocation. Om Eknanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapidam Yena Bhutali Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uta Padakalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagar Jadam Shahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savaduta Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vidamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasa Charisatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitai Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vikrana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jola Premadya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktira Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtai Dina Tarini Rupanuga Viruddha Pasidanta Harini Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtai Vipralambara Sambade Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Vir Bhumi Nidesa Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarubhoma Sri Jagannatayate Namaha Vanchakal Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Paditaram Pavinibhyo Vaishnavebhayo Namo Namaha Om Mahamadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurati Namaha Panchatatatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavadaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Stude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Shri Krishna Pustaputale Srimati Jayapataka Swami Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayana Kavarakata Damadaya Nagaragramatani Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, so again, I would like to welcome all of you for our continuous discussion on this Nectar of Devotion. So this Nectar of Devotion, as we understand that is a compilation after Rupa Goswami had a personal training by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Ramakeli. He gave 10 days. He spoke about the secret of Hari Bhajan, the devotional service, sadhana bhakti. And after hearing all that thing, then and of course the conversation of teaching what Lord Chaitanya taught Rupa Goswami for 10 days, it is also compiled. It is also in the book called Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Okay, there's a book called Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, TLC. Then after that, what Rupa Goswami did, he took all these things and went and scrutinizingly studied all the Vedas. All right, he went and studied and did reference from all the revealed scripture, all the authorized scripture. He studied everything very in detail, very deeply. Then after that, he came out. Then after that, he started to write the Nectar of Devotion, or in Sanskrit, we call it as Bhakti Rasa Mrta Sindhu. All right. So Bhakti means devotional service. Rasa means mellow. The mellow which is Amrita. Amrita means there's two meanings. One is eternal. Second is what they call taste, nectarian taste. All right, nectarian taste, Amrita. Sindhu, ocean. So he explained about the ocean of happiness. Ocean, like sometimes we used to use the term, right? Ocean of suffering, ocean of misery, because there's no limit to that. Why we always Prabhupada always use the term ocean. Ocean means there's no end to it. Everything around this world, we can somehow or other we can say end. All right. Say I start from Perlis, I end up in Johor. All right. I start from Kanyakumari, I end up in Kashmir. So that's the thing. So everything there's a start, there's an end. But when you talk about ocean, it looks like there's no end to it. All right. The depth and the breadth. Okay. It looks like there's no limit to it. So that's why they used to call ocean of suffering, ocean of misery. But here, in this thing, Rupa Goswami named the book is Bhakti Rasa Mrita Sindhu. Bhakti means devotional service. Rasa Mrita, that means it's a nectarian meadow, which is like an ocean. There's no limit to it. All right. Then after that, we also have studied that how the book was being divided into four: Eastern, Southern, Western, and Northern. Right. It divided into four ocean. Okay. Then after that, now actually we are starting off with Eastern Ocean. All right. Every ocean, then there is a what they call? As a main title and also the subtitle, right? So the subtitle is he named it as waves. So in every ocean, I mean, he divided every understanding into different waves. So in the first ocean, there is a 4 waves. All right. It's total of 19 chapter. If those who have done your Bhakti Sastri, we understand that we only discuss up to the first Eastern Ocean. The first 19 chapter is research. But here in this attempt of studying this Nectar of Devotion in detailed studies, we are going to attempt to study the entire 4 ocean. All right, Eastern, Western, Northern, Southern, and Northern. Right, all the 4 oceans and all their waves. We're going to attempt to do the deep studies. Right. So today we're going to continue our discussion. That's where we have stopped this thing. Okay, let me see. Screen share. So Vaishnava Kripa Prabhu, we're going to use not the what they call the photocopied. We're going to use the what they call the Prabhupada's book. Okay, the Nectar of Devotion. All right. Yeah. So now. Okay, so now we have, today we're going to start from here by performing Vedic ritualistic activities, right? So we stopped here last week. That is on the page 7. Okay, page 7. Okay, so page 7. So, okay, so before that, let's do a quick recap. Okay, right. So, so today we're going to start here, right? Today I just highlight this thing here. Okay, so we just do a quick recap, right? In the connection, okay. Now, Rupa Goswami is quoting that from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter 2, text 17. All right, when you see here, Canto 6, chapter 2, 17, and also he quoted in what they call in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. First wave, number 1 means first wave. I mean, sorry, first, how I call ocean, Eastern Ocean. That is the first wave. Number 1 means first wave, and text 24. Right? What we have understood here. So Sukadeva Goswami speaks on the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam about the story of Ajamila. Okay, how he began life as a fine, beautiful Brahmana, but in his young manhood became wholly corrupted by a prostitute. We have discussed about this thing last week. At the end of his wicked life, just by calling the name of Narayana, that means he's calling upon his son, he was saved despite so much of sin. Okay, despite so much of sin. So Sukadev Goswami points out that austerity, charity, and performance of ritualistic. So what Sukadev Goswami is pointing out that the austerity, charity, and performance of ritualistic ceremony for counteracting. Okay. Okay. So now, what he points out here, the charity, that means by performing charity, austerity, right? By performing austerity, performing charity, and performance of ritualistic ceremony for counteracting the sin. All right. Sometimes we do the austerity, charity, we do all kind of ritual just to counteract or to reduce the sinful effect are recommended in the process. But that by performing them, one cannot remove the sinful desire. All right. So we cannot remove the sinful desire that is the seed from the heart. Okay. At the seed of the heart. From the example like what we have read in Ajamila in the youth. So when we are performing all kind of rituals, all right, we are doing that ritual, we are going to Ganga, we're going to take a bath and, all these kind of things that we perform, we only can counteract the sin, right? Whatever sins that we have done, we are somehow or other counteracting. Example, sometimes a criminal sometimes they will send to social service, right? They say, okay, now you have to perform 20 hours of social service. So end up you have to go and do some social service, clean up what they call drain and wipe the sweep the floor and whatever things. But even though they go and do these kind of things to counteract the punishment, all right, but still the desire for sin is in the heart. Okay, still in the heart. Like all the devotees, I mean, no, I shouldn't say all the devotees, I should say in example, devotees, we are all somehow or other, not, I shouldn't use the word we, I am also came from a very sinful background. It's not to say I'm being elevated from the sin. I'm still a sinful person. But we are actually, so let's look at the root cause of this sadhana bhakti. What is the root cause of sadhana bhakti? See, in anything, example, when you want to do something in life, you must have a goal. Okay, what is that ultimate goal that you want to achieve by performing this kind of activity? Okay, what is the goal? Like sometimes, okay, now I'm studying MBBS so that one day I can become a doctor. Okay, so that is the goal. Then once I become a doctor, then what is my next goal? So that I can become a specialist, right? So what is the ultimate idea of being a specialist? So once I go into private practice, I can make tons of money. I can make huge amount of money. Or I want to open a clinic, a chain of clinics, maybe 10, 20 clinics under chain of clinics, and every clinic going to bring me income, whatever. So that is that goal. All right. But of course, there is a subtle goal. When we first start to become a doctor, maybe we have a goal of maybe I want to save life and all this. But there is ultimate goal also, right? Because there's no free cup of tea in this material world. And of course, it's a human nature always want to progress even bigger from wherever they are. So like that. So that is the ultimate goal. So then now, what is that ultimate goal of us practicing sadhana? We always must remember that very clearly. All right. So like example, I'm doing some fire ritual, fire sacrifice. Or there's a festival coming, so I'm going to do some fire sacrifice. Or there's something is like that, so I'm going to do some kind of ritualistic practice. When it comes Amavasya, so I'm going to do some rituals to please my forefathers. But we are still in the garb of a devotee. We are still dressed up as a devotee. We are still Hare Krishna devotee, ISKCON devotee. But still we have our goal, in between. But we must always remember what is that ultimate goal in life. Why, first of all, we became a devotee. To practice sadhana bhakti, for a commoner, right? For a commoner, it is something which is called, it is not easy to achieve that goal for commoners. For common people, the sadhana bhakti can look like a very heavy commitment. You understand? It can be like a heavy commitment. Oh, you shouldn't, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. And they may argue, if you don't have all these things, then what kind of life are you trying to live? you are living a life of bogus. I mean, you're living a fake life. But when we became a devotee, we can give up all these things pleasurably without being forced because we are understanding our real constitutional position. All right. So that's the thing. So we came there and then we became a devotee. Then after we became a devotee, then we start to study the Shastra. Then while we are studying the Shastra, sometimes we can get diverted for ritualistic practice. Oh, that means on Amavasya comes, I have to do some ritualistic practice. So when someone passed away, the devotee passed away, so I'm going to do this some ritual according to Garuda Purana. So now, if that thing happened, this thing happened. So we are turning into a cultural devotee. That means we are upholding the culture and ritual. But now the question is, what is that ultimate goal of being a devotee? We must always remember that. What is my ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal is to get out of this place, because this place, this material universe is not a very conducive place for us, right? It has been a conducive place, but now we realize that now we understand this place is not a very conducive place. It is a place of suffering. If we think you want to be here and enjoy life, actually we are suffering. So in order to do that, what we should do? So we are doing sadhana bhakti. And what is that goal of sadhana bhakti? What is the goal of sadhana bhakti? The goal of sadhana bhakti is to get rid of that sinful seed that's still lying dormant in our heart. It is still like stuck somewhere. Just like sometimes when there's a rat, you're having a rat problem in your house, you try to call, or you're trying your best to get rid of the rat, but you can't get rid. Then you call that pest control. So what happened? The pest control put a poison, and the rat takes the poison and goes somewhere in the house, which you don't know where it goes there, and it dies there. So that means, in your eyes, you see, oh, there's no more rat. But the rat is dead somewhere hidden in your house. Maybe at the attics, behind the wherever that you can't even think of, that you can't even, don't know where is it. But what happened? The smell of the carcass is still there. That means when the thing dies, and the thing carcass, the stenching smell. And you'll be wondering where the smell comes from, where the rat is dead. So you try to look around your house. And somehow or other, you want to get rid of it. So there's no more stinking smell in your house. So similarly, our heart, there is somewhere hidden that kind of sinful desire. So the goal of sadhana bhakti, it is to poison that sinful desire and to kill to disable the seed of that desire. So we have to get rid of it. So, and how to do it? It is only by chanting the holy name of the Lord, and to do sadhana bhakti in a mood, in a conducive mood. And what is a conducive mood? To always think that I am the servant of the servant of the servant, and simply depend on Krishna in every walk in life. So you may argue, hey, I am a businessman, or I am a family man, I need to do this kind of ritual. And yes, fair enough, there is some rituals to follow. But all the rituals are all dovetail to to sadhana bhakti. So we have understood that just by simply, in a nectar of, what they call Harinam Chintamani, the chanting of the holy name, we have studied that if a person can chant Hare Krishna mantra, he is beyond all the rituals. All right. But of course, since as we are conditioned soul, we still have to follow some rituals, because we are not so elevated to the level of, we just depend on sadhana bhakti. We still have some kind of conditioning, fair enough. But we must always remember that the ultimate goal in sadhana bhakti, in this devotional service, is to chant the holy name without offense. Because the holy name is so powerful, it can get rid of everything. Because other than this, all the other rituals are bodily relation. Bodily relation. But when we chant Hare Krishna, it is your ultimate relationship between you and Krishna. All right. So these sinful desires seed can be removed only by achieving Krishna consciousness. What is Krishna consciousness again? Can anyone tell me what is Krishna consciousness? What is Krishna consciousness?
To do pure devotional service, Prabhu.
Very good, Mataji. Fantastic. Pure devotion.
Devotional service.
So that means only can be removed by this pure devotional or Krishna consciousness. And this can be accomplished how? Very easily. So now when we talk about pure devotional service, we can think it looks like a mumbo jumbo kind of philosophy. How to achieve that pure devotion? Cannot. But here Rupa Goswami is mentioning, and as a what they call in this verse, Sukadev says it can be accomplished very easily. It is not easy, but it is very easy. It can achieve very easily, right? By only chanting the Maha Mantra or the Hare Krishna mantra, which is recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that means we can achieve the pure devotional service only very easily, simply by chanting the Maha Mantra or the Hare Krishna mantra, which has been recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in other words, unless one adopt the path of devotional service, he cannot be 100% clean from all the reaction of his sinful activities. All right. So with that thought, let's start our today's discussion. So now Rupa Goswami is continuing. By performing rituals, okay, by performing ritualistic activity. Okay, what activity? We are talking about ritualistic activities. All right. Then by giving money in charity. All right. And just by doing ritualistic activity, by giving money in charity, and by undergoing austerity, doing all kind of fasting, this fasting, that fasting, Ekadasi, all these things, one can temporarily become free from reaction of sinful activities. So it's only a temporary thing. All right. But at the next moment, he must again become engaged in sinful activities. All right. He must still engage in sinful activities. For example, a person suffering from venereal disease. All right. So Prabhupada is giving an example here. A person suffering from venereal disease. What is venereal disease? Sexual, what they call transmitted disease like syphilis, right? Okay. So that means when a person suffering from venereal disease on account of excessive indulgence in sex life has to undergo some severe, pain in medical treatment. All right. Then he is cured for the time being. He's cured for some, but because he has not been able to remove the sex desire from his heart, he must again indulge in that same thing and become victim of the same disease again. So medical treatment may give temporary relief, can give you a temporary relief from the distress of such venereal disease. But unless one is trained to understand that sex life is abominable, until he's trained that sex life is not good, it is impossible to save from such repeated distress. It is what? Impossible to be saved from such repeated distress. Okay, like for example, I know one of my one guy. He was a heavy smoker. Then after that, he underwent bypass. After he underwent bypass, then he came back. Then he looks okay. In fact, I used to say, he's very surprised to see you with a cigarette, because he don't smoke and everything. But after that, he had some kind of stress and everything. Because he couldn't handle the stress, of course, he got a desire which is deep-rooted. What happened? He went back into smoking, and within 6 months, he passed away. So like that. So until the desire is not uprooted, it will still sprout. It will still sprout because the desire is deeply rooted. Right? It's deep. So you can cut it off. You can cut off. You think, everything is okay, but still it will sprout back. All right? So only by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, basically what you're doing is you're poisoning the seed from the root. It dies from the root and it will never this thing again. All right. So simply, now Prabhupada is explaining simply The ritualistic performance, charity and austerity, which is recommended in the Vedas, may be temporarily stop one from taking sinful ways, temporarily. All right. Say like, for instance, now they say, okay, like example now for a start, we say, okay, on Ekadasi day, please be vegetarian at least. You cannot be a fruitarian. You cannot remain yourself from not eating, fasting and everything, like especially for karmis. You say, okay, at least on Ekadasi day, don't eat meat. Right? But then what happened? After, say, okay, Ekadasi day, one day I don't eat meat. But after that, after the Ekadasi is done, the next day, they go back. Like example I gave about that, that my friend who carried a fire pot, right? After that, then he had a festival, a party, and this thing. So because the sin is still, all right, as because the heart is not clear. Okay, one will have to repeat the sinful activities again and again. So another example also given in Srimad Bhagavatam concerns the elephant who enters into a lake and take his very serious bath, cleaning the body thoroughly. Then as soon as he comes out, he again take the dust from this thing and throw on the body after taking a good bath. Similarly, a person who is not trained in Krishna consciousness cannot become completely free from desire for sinful activities. Right. So the word that we should consider here is a person who is not trained in Krishna consciousness. What does that mean? So Krishna consciousness means pure bhakti, pure devotion. So now, when we talk about a person is not trained in Krishna consciousness, that means what actually we are going through here in Krishna consciousness, we are actually undergoing training. Right? Krishna consciousness, some say, is a way of life, way of a disciplined life, fair enough. But actually, this is the place of training. We are getting trained. So that we can behave ourselves. Neither in the yoga process, proper repeat, not even in the yoga process, or philosophical speculation, or by fruitive activities, can save one from the seat of sinful thing. All right, can save one from the sinful desires. Only by engaged in devotional service, he can thus be done. All right. So I hope you all have continue with me. Yeah. All right. Let's look at the next verse. Okay. First ocean, Eastern Ocean. First wave, text 25, which as Rupa Goswami is quoting from Srimad Bhagavatam again. All right. He's quoting from chapter 4. Okay, chapter 4, text 22, Canto 4, chapter 22, text 39. Okay, Yat pada pankaja palasha vilasha bhaktya, Yat pada pankaja palasha vilasha bhaktya, Karma sayang gratitam udgrata yanti santaha, Tatmannarikto matayo yatayo piruddha Shrota ganastam aranam bhaja vasudevam. See, we understand the word bhaja vasudevam. All right, the verse here. Okay, again. Avidyaharatvam yata chaturte yat pada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya karma shayang gratitam udgratayanti santaha tatvannarikto matayo yatayo piruddha Sroto ganastamaranam bhajavasudevam. There's another evidence. All right, Prabhupada is saying there is another evidence from the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 22nd chapter, verse 39. He says, wherein Sanat Kumara is what? The Sanat Kumara is the sons of Brahma. Okay, sons of Brahma. Right. So Sanat Kumara is mentioning here. What he say? He says, my dear king, a false ego of a human being, the false ego of a human being is so strong that it keeps him in material existence as if tied up by the strong rope. Okay, please underline the statement in your book. In 4, 4.22.29. 4.22.29. Here it is, 39. 4. 20. Wait, just give me a second. I think something's okay. 4.22.39. Here is an evidence. Is evidence of this thing. So it says the false ego of a human being. The false ego means what? Ahankar. I am this, I am that, I am Indian, I am Chinese, no, I'm Malaysian, I'm Indian, I'm Pakistani. So this false ego, okay, is so strong. It's not ordinary, it's so strong that it keeps him in material existence. So the false ego is the one that keeps you in material existence. Looks like as though it's tied up by a strong rope. So just imagine you have been tied left and right and by a strong rope of false ego. Others, some or other we can handle, but false identification, false ego is something very hard, right? But now what is mentioned here, only who? The devotees that can cut off the knot of the strong rope very easily. They can cut the strong-rooted rope, very easily. How? By engaging themselves in Krishna consciousness. Only in Krishna consciousness. Others who are not in Krishna consciousness, but are trying to become great mystic. Those who are not in Krishna, but what they are going to trying to become a great mystics or great ritual performers cannot advance like the devotees. Therefore, it is the duty of everyone to engage. It is a duty for everyone. Duty means what? Something that you cannot. Okay. So duty means what? Something that you cannot have choice. All right. Say like, for instance, if you are a doctor, your duty is to save life. Even a terrible terrorist or badly hit or terrible criminal coming to you because he's sick or maybe got hit or something like that, it's your duty is to treat him. Or if you are a teacher, when you see, like, for instance, if you're a teacher, because once I asked a teacher about this and the teacher was so annoyed with my question. I said, when you are teaching, there's a lot of boys like Malay boys, Chinese boys and Malay boys and all Indian boys, all there. So when you are going to commit yourself to teach them, you know what will happen? One day, the Malay boys will hold the government and they're going to step on your head. Or if a Chinese boy, they're going to become a businessman and they're going to be a capitalist and they're going to take you for granted. All right. So as an Indian teacher, how do you find about that? And she was so annoyed with my question. She said, in my whole life, no one asked this kind of a silly question to me. I said, why? Because it is my duty. It doesn't matter what they're going to end up in their future. As long they are my student, they are my children, and it's my duty to impart the knowledge to my best ability. So now the word duty means you have to perform it no matter what. Nothing can actually stop you from that. So what Prabhupada is mentioning, that is, therefore it's a duty of everyone. So if duty of everyone means you don't have a choice. This is the only thing you have to do, to engage himself in the activity of Krishna consciousness in order to be freed from the tight knot, from that tight knot of false ego and the engagement in material activities. This tight knot of false ego, Prabhupada explained, is due to ignorance. It is due to ignorance. What is ignorance? Because you still cannot understand that we are not this body. Theoretically, we can say, I am not this body, I am a spirit soul. Yes, fine enough. Yesterday I was having a discussion with one devotee yesterday. We were discussing and they were talking about, I think I also shared here, from a Nectar of what Bhakti Aloka. That last concluding verse by Sanatana Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas. What he says, the fame is like a stool. The fame, name and fame, perupugal, malathukku samam, like a stool. So when we want to have name and fame, it is just like you are touching the stool. So the stool is so nasty, right? Once you have already go to toilet, let's say you want to get rid of it, you don't even touch it, and touch and feel it. So fame is like that. So it's very hard to give up fame. Sometimes you say, who am I? Even sometimes advanced devotee also will talk like that. It's very hard to give up fame. But that fame is actually what? Is a false ego, very subtle, very subtly existing in our system. Very hard to give up. Right? So this is a tight knot. All right. But here, Prabhupada is explaining that this tight knot is because of ignorance. What is ignorance? Deprived of proper knowledge, the real knowledge. All right. So through that proper knowledge. Okay. Proper and correct knowledge. So that is how the ignorance is distinct. So once we have that proper knowledge, that's when the ignorance is overcome. So that's why we are doing this bhakti, the Shastra study marathon thing, right? So it's due to ignorance, and as long as one is ignorant, Prabhupada explained, as long as one is ignorant about his identity, who am I, is sure to act wrongly and thereby become entangled in material contamination, right? He's sure to act wrongly. So that means he has his identity, because the identity itself is considered not a right thing to identify with the identity. So that means what Prabhupada said, he is sure to act wrongly and thereby become entangled in material contamination. All right. Now, Rupa Goswami is quoting from what they call Padma Puran. Padmecha. Padmecha. Kiltanuyatra vidyabir hari bhaktir anuttama avidyang nirdahatyashu Davajvaleva Pannagim. This ignorance, now in this Padma Purana is explained that this ignorance is factual knowledge. This ignorance of factual knowledge. That means yes, this is correct. Factfully you remember it, but we are in ignorance. The ignorance of facts can also be dissipated by Krishna consciousness. All right. So that means you have a lot of facts. You can give me 101 facts, but the facts is in ignorance. This kind of knowledge also can be dissipated, can be overcome by Krishna consciousness, as is confirmed in Padma Purana. What it says, pure devotional service, please underline, pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the highest enlightenment. The pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness, what is that? Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the highest enlightenment. And when such enlightenment is there, it is just like what? All right, just like a blazing forest fire, killing all the inauspiciousness of snake of desire. So what does that mean? So in Padma Purana, it says that being a pure devotional, you achieve the pure devotional service. What is pure devotional service? Devoid of all kind of contamination. That means there's no contamination. Pure water means there's no contamination inside. Similarly, pure devotional means there's no contamination. All right, that's the highest enlightenment. And that kind of enlightenment is just like Lord Shiva is declaring with blazing forest fire. When the forest fire, when the forest is on fire, it will simply burn everything down. All right, like animal with recce, with this thing, they can fly away. With four-legged, they can run away. But like a snake which is crawl, it cannot run. So it is this kind of forest fire. It kills this kind of inauspicious snakes of desire. The example of being given in this connection that when there is a forest fire, the extensive blazing automatically kills all the snakes in the forest, because the snakes are the most envious and the most scary part in all kind of what they call animals. So all varieties of poisonous snakes get burnt. There are many snakes in the ground of the forest. When the when fire take place, it burns and burns the dried foliage. All right. That means all the leaves and everything all dry, it start to burn, and the snakes are immediately attacked. Animals who have 4 legs can flee from the fire, or can at least try to flee. They can fly, you can run away, but at least they can try. But the snakes are immediately killed. The snake cannot run. Similarly, the blazing fire of Krishna consciousness, all right? So it's the blazing fire of Krishna consciousness is so strong that the snakes of ignorance are immediately killed. All right? So let's look at the next verse. Shubhadatvam Shubhani Prinanam Sarva Jagatam Anuraktata Satguna Sukam Itya Dinyakyatani Manishibihi. Krishna conscious is all auspicious. Sri Rupa Goswami has given definition of auspiciousness. Now this verse is from Rupa Goswami. Okay, so Rupa Goswami gives a definition of auspiciousness. What is that? He says that So he says that actual auspiciousness means welfare activity for all the people in the world. Please underline the statement. He says the actual auspiciousness, Mangalam, the one Mangalam, actually auspiciousness means welfare activities for all the people of the world to perform this kind of welfare activity. At the present moment, group of people are engaged in welfare activities in terms of society, community, or nation. You know, some group of people who work for the nation, community, like Red Cross and all these kind of things, right? There is even an attempt in the form of the United Nations. All right, they created United Nations for world health activity. If any country got a problem, they help. But due to the shortcoming of limited national activities, such as general mass welfare program for the whole world, is not practically possible. All right, this kind of activity is not possible. So the Krishna consciousness movement, however, is so nice. It is so nice. Okay, Krishna consciousness, however, is so nice that if it can render the highest benefit to the entire human race, all right, so it can render the highest benefit for the entire human race. Everyone can be attracted to this movement, and everyone can feel the result. You get it? So the way Krishna conscious movement, somehow or other, doing the best service. That means when everybody becomes sober, everybody becomes clear in his mind, when everybody becomes a devotee, you know, there's no more killing of the animal, there's no more bad habits, bad activities, and all these kind of things. That means there is considered as a place, Mangalam Undayirchi. The place became auspicious. You all get it? Therefore, Rupa Goswami and other learned scholars agree that the broad propaganda, program of the Krishna consciousness movement of devotional service all over the world is the highest humanitarian activity. This is considered the highest humanitarian activity. Right? Any questions so far? All good? Hare Krishna. Everyone there?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Why suddenly everyone so quiet today? Monday blues, is it?
Nothing. Because it takes time to unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. Okay, we have. All right. I thought it's a Monday blue. After a long break, Saturday, Sunday, all feel like, oh, starting again, you know. All right. Okay. Now let's look at the next verse. Before that, you want to take a short break? Do you all think you need a break now? Because too many messages? Yes? Right. Okay, we take a short break now. Now it's 9:48. We meet again in another 2 minutes. All right, 9:50, we meet again, then we continue our discussion. Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's continue. So now let's go to the second paragraph on page 8. Tatra jagat prinana dit Tatra jagat prinana ditvaya pradatvam yata patmeyana archito aristena tarpitani jagantyapi rajyanti jantavas tatra jagama stavara api. So now, this is Rupa Goswami's commentary. He says how Krishna conscious movement can attract attention of the whole world. How? And how each and every one, okay, how Krishna conscious, okay, now let's look at this. How Krishna conscious movement can attract the attention of the whole world, and how each and every man can feel pleasure in Krishna consciousness is stated in Padma Purana as follows. Okay, this thing is from Padma Purana. Yes, Yata Padme. Okay. Padma Purana, sorry. All right, it's mentioned here, a person, underline, who is engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. That means a person who is engaged in full Krishna conscious is to be understood to be doing the best service to the whole world. Okay? A person who engaged in devotion, is in Padma Purana, it's mentioned. A person who is in full Krishna consciousness is to be understood to be doing the best service to the whole world, and also to be pleasing everyone in the world. All right. So that means this to be understood that they are doing the best service to the whole world, and also to be pleasing everyone in the world. Okay. In addition to human society, he is not only for human, he is also pleasing even the trees and the animals, because they also become attracted with such a movement. You know. So what does that mean in Padma? Because see, as what we have understood before, after hearing from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami is going and doing a detailed studies by scrutinizing his study all the Vedas. So he's quoting from all the Vedas. So then he found in Padma Purana, it's mentioned like this. A person engaged in devotional service, sadhana bhakti, in full Krishna conscious, they should be understood that they're doing the biggest, greatest seva. Okay, biggest, great service that is pleasing everyone to the world. And not only that, not only human, but also trees and animals. Even trees and animals also can get attracted to such a movement, and the trees and animal also will get benefit from your chanting. A practical example is shown by Lord Chaitanya when he was traveling through the forest of Jarikanda, in central India for spreading the Sankirtan movement. He was walking, the Lord Chaitanya was going through the forest, and while he was following, he was singing and dancing. So then what happened? The tigers, elephants, and the deers and all the wild elephant, okay, all the wild animals joined in and were participating. When he was singing, the tigers and the deers all were dancing along with him. The deer was not afraid of the tiger, and the tiger never looked at the deer as the food, but all were in ecstasy dancing in their own ways by dancing and chanting Hare Krishna. All right, that's one story that you can find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Even all the living entities also can be attracted. Now, in Canto 5, chapter 18, text 12, Sadgunadi Pradatvam Yata Panchame Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavatya Kinchana Sarvargunas Tatra Samasata Suraha Hara Harava Bhaktasya Kuto Mahadguna Manoratena Sati Dvavato Bahihi. All right. Here it says, furthermore, a person engaged in Krishna conscious, acting in devotional service, can also develop all good qualities. Okay. Now let's look at this. Okay. Furthermore, a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, acting in devotional service, that means performing devotional service, can develop all good qualities. They can develop all good qualities, which are generally found in the demigods. So that means when a person performing devotional service, what kind of devotional service? All right. A person engaged in Krishna consciousness, pure devotion, acting in devotion, can develop all the good qualities that generally found in the demigods, in the devas. It is said by Sukadev Goswami, the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 18th chapter, verse 12. My dear king, person who have unflinching faith in Krishna. Unflinching faith means what? They believe in Krishna 100%. Okay, and are without any duplicity. Okay, they don't have a dual character. Can develop all the good qualities of the demigods. All right. Sometimes when you become a devotee, when you start to perform sadhana bhakti, you start to see that people around you are no longer wants to be your associate. They start to see, like example, like okay, there's a devotee was telling about sometimes you have to go for a company dinner and everything. He refused to drink alcohol. They said, come like company dinner, They said no. Then but the boss says, but last time you did. Yes, last time I did, but now I don't want to do it. I'm not going to drink and this anymore, and I'm not going to eat all this kind of nonsense anymore. So what happened? Now, even though he's one of the key men in the organization, still, whenever they have this kind of party or gathering, he is usually is not invited. All right. So it's like that. So, and sometimes when we have like in myself, if they're going to have any wedding party, dinner, wedding in the hall, they usually don't want to invite me because they know I will never come, or they will know that it doesn't suit me. So before that, they said, okay, I am not trying to offend you, but I think this thing it's not conducive to you. Or sometimes when they come and give a wedding invitation, the wedding can be elsewhere, but the dinner in Ipoh. So they just tell me, I just want to inform you, I just give you a wedding. But then I say, hey, the wedding is in Penang. Yes, but the dinner is in Ipoh, but I don't know whether you can. Say, no, definitely I cannot. Sometimes they come and give this patrika. We just say we go for a wedding which is held in the temple and not outside anywhere else. So like that, somehow or other people will start to leave you. People start to leave you, and the people who cannot understand your sentiment, okay, cannot understand your sentiment, they would like to stay away from you. And some they even want to leave you. But why? Because we are developing good qualities. Okay, we don't think we went to the level of demigods, devas, but we understand somehow or other we are better than the karmis out there. So it is very normal, it is very normal that usually you will be like, in Malay we call dipulaukan. So people try to avoid you and all. It's okay, it's a good thing. It's like that. So there's no duplicity. And of course, unflinching faith in Krishna, you must have full faith without dual character. That means there's no duplicity in you. You remain sincere. All right. So all the good qualities can be developed. Here it's not mentioned the person has to be born in a great family, or the person who is born as a Brahmana. Anyone. All right. My dear Krishna, my dear King, persons, if you don't say the Brahmanas, or the high born, the high caste, who have unflinching, this is anybody, the unflinching faith in Krishna, and they are not duplicate. There's no duplicity in them, right? Sometimes in this world, we have to be duplicity. We have to show some duplicity in order to please people. All right. Say sometimes there's a dispute. All right. So in the dispute, sometimes there's a you have to like take you want to try to be diplomatic, especially say within devotees and all that. Sometimes we want to be diplomatic. We are trying to this thing. This is all duplicity. So in other words, if you really think you want to advance in devotional service, stay away from all these kind of things. Okay. Stay away from all the like management, role, and all. Stay away from everything. Let anybody who can there, remain there. Because here we are studying this nectar of devotion for our own relishment and nourishment. We are not trying to quote or think of anyone. That's why before we start the class, I said, I put a warning. When we study this, don't try to think of that devotee. Oh, that devotee don't have this quality. No, oh, that fellow don't have. No, we are not trying to do that. We are trying to improve our sadhana. So now you want to have this, you must be no duplicity. And if there is any situation you have to be duplicity, just stay away from that. So you're trying to get rid of that environment. So on account of a devotee, on account of devotees' high grade of Krishna consciousness, even the demigods live with them. Okay, now, on an account of a devotee, now let's look at this. Rupa Goswami says, a devotee of high grade of Krishna conscious. High grade means what? The pure devotee of the Lord. Even the demigods like to live, demigods live with them. And therefore, it can be understood that the qualities of the demigods are developed within his body. That is why whenever we see a pure devotee of the Lord, we like to offer obeisances. When we offer obeisances to the lotus feet of a pure devotee, because when we are offering, we are also offering our respect to all the devas, 33 million of them. Huh? All the devas, because all the good qualities, all the auspicious things are in the body of a pure devotee of the Lord. He is a living auspicious person. All right. Sometimes they say a walking encyclopedia, living encyclopedia like that, right? Because he knows everything. So, but now a pure devotee of the Lord is a reservoir. He has every good qualities. So when we see a pure devotee, when we offer our dandavat, our prostrated obeisances, we fall at their lotus feet. When they say, may all good things happen on you, that is the blessings that will be fulfilled. That's why we have to be very careful. What happened when we go and show respect to bogus gurus, bogus sannyasis, right? Who is not the thing, cheaters or self-made. You can offer your obeisances just like a respect, just like namaskar, just like, that's fair enough. But falling at the feet, taking the dust of the lotus feet, what they can bless you when they are full of inauspiciousness, their blessings will be upon inauspiciousness will be granting upon you. So you have to be very careful. That's why in Bhakti Loka and all it says, avoid Mayavadis, avoid non-devotees, avoid karmis and all these kind of things. Right? So that's the thing. So we have to remember that. On the other hand, a person who is not in Krishna consciousness has no good qualities. He may be highly educated. You know, the thing I shared in the group yesterday or day before yesterday, a very well-known doctor was so well-known and he's so distinct. End of the day, he committed suicide. He shot himself, palm, in the hospital. So it doesn't matter. The material education, opulence are not the benchmark to identify a person as a highly intellectual person. They are not highly intellectual. The intellectuality is decided upon the amount of surrender he has towards Krishna. How humble can he? How tolerant he can be? So now a person becomes a devotee. So how to identify a devotee? There's three kinds of devotee, right? Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. So what quality, how to know that they are distinct? The level of tolerance. The devotee who are Kanishta level of a neophyte, a new devotee, their tolerant level can be low. They cannot tolerate things. They only say Krishna is the Supreme Lord and they love the deity. For the sake of deity, they are willing to do anything. Buy expensive ghee, buy a new clothes for them. All these kind of things they do. But they misbehave with other devotees. They don't respect other devotees. They pick a fight with other devotees. Why? Because the tolerance level is very low. What is the tolerance level? The level of tolerating the false ego is very, very low. So these are called the Kanishta. When we see them, we respect them mentally. Second is Madhyama. The Madhyama Adhikari Their tolerance level is higher than Kanishta. So what they respect the devotees. They respect the devotees as what they call the servant of the Lord. You are a Vaishnava. I respect you. I love you. I want to be with you. I want to talk to you. I want to associate with you. And they love the deities and they love the devotees. This is the Madhyama. But they cannot tolerate the non-devotees. The non-devotees, karmi and all this, they cannot tolerate. So the tolerance level is still higher than Kanishta, like that. But what is Uttama Adhikari? The pure devotee of the Lord. They have achieved 100% tolerance. They love the deities, they love the devotees, and they love the humanity at large. They love the humanity. So they always like to go forward to save them, not by giving them cloth, not by giving them books, or pencil box and all these kind of books, and not by giving them foods and drink, right? That's not what they are interested. They are more interested of saving that person from drowning further in the material ocean of nations or ignorance. They have so much of concern. They have so much of love for humanity. Their tolerance level is 100%. These are the people completely devoid of false ego. One example is our Srila Prabhupada. He left his comfort of Vrindavan. He left his comfort. After he took sannyas, he never rested. He translated books. Then he sent the books to Delhi for proofreading. In that process, he was even knocked by a cow, a bull. When he was walking, a bull came and knocked him down. He fainted on the road. He was lying there. Nobody came to help him. Nobody came there to, hey, Baba, why you fainted? So sorry, to see you. Nobody said. After the bull hit him, he pinched on the road. He remained there until he wake up by himself. He went. He tolerated everything. He could just stay in Vrindavan and just carry on with his life. But the love for humanity, the mercy for the humanity, when he started to see everybody's drowning, he was so heartbroken. He said, it's my duty. And his spiritual master, his Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, also had so much of mercy. Always he tell his disciple, go and preach. Extend this Bhakti Yoga everywhere. And his Paramaguru, then ever Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he translated everything into English. He never had his life. Only sleep for 2 hours a day. Work day and night. Because, in the future, one Senadipati Bhakta, the commander-in-chief, is going to appear. And he's going to take this mission worldwide. So he translated everything into English so that one day he can take this worldwide. So he sacrificed his life, his comfort. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada sacrificed his life and comfort. And Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, our Prabhupada, what he did? He had such a terrible thing. At a very old age, 69, he left to America. On the way, he went through a turbulent sea, had a heart attack. Before that also, they said, you come back, don't waste your time. He never had any comfort for himself. He went on. A person with one heart attack itself, they like to stay at home and don't want to do. They don't even want to, lift a finger just to carry even a book. They are so scared. But such a risk he took by traveling to a Western country, a country that he don't know anyone, with this frail bodily condition. His bodily condition is so frail, fragile. You don't know whether you're going to get the next meal or not. With 40 rupees in hand, can you dare to go out from your house with only 40 cents in your pocket? Or maybe 4 ringgit in your pocket or 10 ringgit? Do you dare to go out from your house? Take the car and go. Do you dare to go to Penang, KL, drive or take a long drive just with 10 ringgit in your hand? Just think about it. But he's traveled across that ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the dangerous ocean. So he traveled, he went to the West. And after that, he stayed in the yoga center, the Mayavadi Yoga Center. And that's for talking nonsense. He couldn't tolerate. Before the person could talk, immediately in front of everyone, Prabhupada burst out and start to speak about Krishna consciousness. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, because that person saying Krishna, there's no God, everything is light. But now Prabhupada took the mic. Can you imagine he's staying in their house, under the shelter, in their center, but he went and expressed his point. And the yoga center owner was so angry with him. And he said, that's it, I want to go out. Then one of the boy was there, drug addict, he took him out, Hayagriva. And he said, but his name is something, some name, start with H. All right? Stayed with him. Then went and stayed with one bum. And that fella, so nice boy, suddenly at night, he became drunk and he came almost to kill Prabhupada. He was so high. He came and Prabhupada ran away. I mean, just get out from the room. And next day he's sober. Then after that, he called back the Hayagriva, like Prabhu, and he says, take me else somewhere else. Then they went to the lower brewery and all these kind of things, lived among the hippies. They are so abominable. They don't take their bath, so dirty, and they come there and Prabhupada, with whatever money that he has, he cooked and served them. And somehow or other, he created the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Why he did that? Why he is Uttama Adhikari? Because the level of tolerance. He tolerated. Right? So we as a devotee, we are always the benchmark, the what they call the tester. How to test a devotee? The level of tolerance. All right. So when the level of tolerance is very high, all the devas will come and stay with him. Because he's beyond human. He's beyond human. That's called Uttama Adhikar. All right. So on the other hand, a person who is not in Krishna consciousness has no good qualities. Whether we agree to this or not, that's the fact. Because at least a person who are trying to be a devotee, despite being entangled in common bad habits, meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, or gambling, even though they are stuck in that kind of sin, but they are morose. They always try, they think of ways and means and pray. My dear Krishna, I have this habit, I cannot give up. Can you please help me? Even though they're stuck in that condition, still they are trying their best to get rid of it. Like sometimes when you see people outside, they're not even bothered. Like life without pork, life without mutton, I can't even think about it. But even though these people are stuck in that condition, they are trying their best to get rid of it. All right, that means they are trying to develop the good qualities. But the person who is not in Krishna consciousness, he can be a person who are a vegetarian, a person who never drinks, a person who never smokes, or a person who don't have any illicit affairs, and the person don't gamble. There are people like that. There are people who are very clean and distinct, but sometimes they can be atheist. They can be very clean and distinct, but they can have this kind of nonsense ideology in them. So it is not the matter. The matter when you see the person, or the person is a vegetarian, so what? You are a vegetarian. Even the cows and the bulls and the donkeys are vegetarian. So what's the big deal of being a vegetarian? So we are not a vegetarian. We are prasadarian. So whatever food that we eat, we offer to Krishna. We are above vegetarianism. Sometimes when you go out, I think you all have seen it or heard about it. Oh, I'm a vegetarian, So that means I'm very pious. No, it's not that benchmark. That's not a, that's what they call the test mark. What they call? What is the word they use, Prabhu, to benchmark, or in other words, what they call it? Test. What? There's a chemistry term. Test fire. Can anyone help me with that? There's a term they call.
Litmus.
Huh?
Litmus test.
No, there's a word they call it for test something,
To test something, Babu.
Yeah, what is the term they use?
Litmus test.
No, litmus test is specific. There's another word they used to say, it's a what? Benchmark test. I know the word benchmark, another word. It's not a benchmark. It's not a. There's a word they used to say, There's a word. It's in my mind, not coming out. Krishna. Anyway, I hope you understand. Do you get my idea? So that's not a benchmark. That's not a, yeah, what is the word?
Something like that.
sometimes-
Usually it's in your tongue, but it won't come out, bro.
Yeah. Sometimes when you want to do a test, Prabhu, say example, you want to test that. I think they also use in engineering term. They want to test the strength of the iron, There's a term they call. Anyway, I can't recall. So anyway, as long you all understand, so that's not a benchmark. Okay, that's not a benchmark, means that's not a standard to say that a person is a vegetarian means he's pious. So we should understand, even a cows, bulls, donkeys, buffaloes, they are all vegetarian. So it doesn't make any difference. But we want to develop this kind of qualities. So this good qualities is only developed through Krishna consciousness. So we should know that a person who is not in Krishna consciousness has no good qualities, right? They have some kind of bad qualities with them. Now you can argue with me, yeah, but I know devotees who don't have good qualities. Yeah, you are telling about the non-devotee, but we have seen devotees sometimes have no good qualities. It's okay. The difference is the devotee who don't have a good quality, they are trying to develop the good quality, at least trying. Even though they fail, they try. But the karmis, they don't even want to try. They are happily living in that bad qualities, right? So he may be highly educated in the academic point of view, but in the actual field of his activity, he can be seen as to be a baser than animal. What does that mean? He can be a very highly educated and everything, but his standard is lower than the animal, baser than animal. Baser means lower than the animals. Why is that? Animals are, at least they know they are animals, they are living in their natural habitat. But we human, we are not even utilizing our natural habitat. But we want to live like an animal. That means we are considered lower than that animal. Even though the person is highly educated academically, if he cannot go beyond the sphere of mental activities, then he is sure to perform only material activities and thus remain impure. There are many persons in this modern world who have been highly educated in the materialistic university, but it's seen that they cannot take up the movement of Krishna consciousness and develop the high qualities of the demigods. For example, a Krishna conscious boy, even if he's not well educated by the university standard, he can immediately give up all the illicit sex life, gambling, meat eating, and intoxication. Whereas, right, those who are not in Krishna consciousness, although very highly educated, are often drunkard, meat eaters, sex mongers, and gamblers. These are practical proof that how a Krishna conscious person become highly developed in good qualities. Whereas a person who is not in Krishna consciousness cannot do so, right? Sometimes we have seen a devotee who given up this habit, but suddenly have the desire to go back into that habit, right? Say a devotee who's stopped drinking and suddenly he feel like drinking. So how does he do? He don't go outside openly and do it. Maybe just buy a can of beer, go and hide somewhere and drink. All right? Because he have developed that habit and he knows that what he's doing is wrong. But because of his Maya, the influence of that is so strong, he's helpless. The mind says, no, 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 no. But the habit, the desire, the sense, no, take, open, drink. But at least he do it discreetly. That he doesn't show outside people that, you don't sit in a coffee shop and start to drink beer and what is done. he do it in discreet. And after doing that, you know what will happen to him? If he will start to regret, oh my God, I came to this level, yet my stupid mind, how can I fall victim? How can I fall victim back into this kind of nasty habit? I gave it up. You know, after drinking beer, you're supposed to feel good. But the devotee who do that, he start to feel morose. He start to feel horrible. He start to feel so regretful. The next day after they take bath in the morning, they go to the in front of the Lord and they start to beg for forgiveness. My dear Lord, please forgive me, my Lord. I'm so helpless. I know it's wrong, but I'm so helpless. My addiction is so strong. I gave up, but still I fell into that. Please kindly forgive me, my Lord. So he start to have remorseness, right? Then after that, some or other, he'll give it up. So like that, okay? We experience that even a youth boy in Krishna conscious is unattached to cinema. Prabhupada is explaining. The young boy, because all the young boys who are attached, who are unattached to cinemas, we experience that a young boy in Krishna consciousness is unattached. He is not interested in cinemas, nightclubs, naked dance, shows, restaurants, liquor shop, etc. He became completely freed. He saves his valuable time from being extravagantly spent in the way of smoking, drinking, attending the theater, and dancing. One who is not in Krishna consciousness usually cannot sit silently even for a half an hour. You know, those who are not in Krishna conscious, you see that they cannot sit in one place for more than a half an hour. The yoga system teaches that if you become silent, you'll realize that you are God. That's the yoga system. This system may be all right for materialistic person, but how long will they be able to keep themselves silent? You know, they say Mauna Vrata. If you can just keep quiet, if you just go on not talking, you will realize that actually you are a God. But now Prabhupada is sarcastically saying, yes, fair enough. But now the question is, how long can you do that? How long can you stand without talking? Unless you're mute, unless you're a mute and deaf. Artificially, they may sit down for so-called meditation. But immediately after their yogic performance, they will engage themselves again in the activities of illicit sex. You know, after that, their attraction is so strong, they somehow or other go back into that kind of life. Illicit sex life, gambling, meat eating, and many other nonsensical things. This reminds me about one of the yoga center in the first garden area. Last time I remember. Now I don't think so, because I think the yoga guru also should have passed away by now. Up there is a yoga center. Everybody goes in the morning. In the morning, they do yoga, stretching exercise, meditating. Oh, you know, I think they'll meet around 4 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock, 7, 3 hours non-stop. Touch of purification and everything, process everything. But after that, they come down, there's a wonton mee shop. They go and have breakfast. You know, in a Chinese thing. Then beside, there's a Magnum. Go there and tekan 4 echo. Tekan some number, buy number, right? So what is the point? You go there for 3 hours and doing all these things. Once you are done, you come down, you go for, because you meet at 4 o'clock in the morning, definitely you have not taken breakfast. But you come down, you go and eat some wonton mee, curry mee with fish ball and all these kind of things. Then after they go in tekan number, then what's the point? So that's what he's saying. So that means they cannot, right? They cannot be completely freed. All right. So one in prison, okay. So that means not in, okay. So what's the point? You realize yourself as God, but you cannot control. This system may be all right for material, but how long will they be able to keep themselves silent? Artificially, they may sit down for so-called meditation, but immediately after that, they get into this illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, and all these kind of nonsensical things. But a Krishna conscious person gradually, look at this, he will gradually elevate himself, right? This is not an artificial way of life. This is not an artificial way of mind control. You do things gradually. All right. Step 1, I'm smoking 20 sticks. Now I smoke maybe 15 sticks, right? Like some devotees I've seen, they said, okay, I only smoke after chanting 5 rounds. They are so addicted. So they say, okay, I chant 5 rounds, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. After they finish the 5 rounds, they go for a fag. Then after they chant another 5 rounds, they go for a second fag. You know, so like that. And someone says, okay, now I know at night I get agitated because I need to go and have consume beer and all these kind of things. So they start to engage in some classes or listen to some lectures, all right, and try to stay intact with the family. Make sure that they have dinner prepared, dinner prasadam, so they don't go at night. Then after that, make sure before that agitation increases, make sure they go to bed. After they go to bed, because of agitation, they wake up very early, 3 o'clock. And the desire, oh, let's go for a can of beer and something like that. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's no shop available. All right. Then what do you do? Oh, but I still very agitated. Never mind. What I'll do, I'll chant 5 rounds, then I'll think about it. Then they start to chant Hare Krishna. So you get purified. So gradually, step by step, you elevate yourself. Okay. So elevate himself without endeavoring for the so-called silent meditation. They are not interested in silent meditation. Simply because he's engaged in Krishna consciousness, he automatically gives up all his nonsense. Automatically. Automatic means it doesn't take so much of effort. All right. It somehow or other happens by default. Right? Develop this. Right? So, give up nonsense and develop high character. And one develops the highest character by becoming pure. That means one develops the highest character by becoming pure devotee. So slowly they go to the highest level, they become a pure devotee of Krishna. The conclusion is that one can truly have good qualities if he is lacking, please underline that no one can have truly good qualities if he is lacking Krishna consciousness. Any questions? Come on, it's supposed to be a two-way communication. Do you have any questions? Do you all get it? Thumbs up.
Got it.
Okay. Others? What happened? Chana Lakshmi Mataji, Karpiya Mataji, Saras Mataji, Kesavan, Sadguna Mataji, Vivan.
Can
No
follow,
comments?
Prabhu, can follow.
Can
You're
follow,
very nice.
understand.
Oh, suddenly I was thinking you all had a terrible Monday blue, is it?
I'm mesmerized with your talk.
Sorry?
Mesmerized with your talk, Prabhu.
Not my with the contents.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. Just
Yeah,
reading.
right.
All right. Hare Krishna. Okay. See, Mataji silent me. Anyway. Okay. Now, let's look at happiness. Sukha. What is that happiness in Krishna? Sukha pradatvam. Sukha means happiness. Sugam Vaisayikam Brahmang Aishwaram Chetti Tat Trida. Happiness in Krishna consciousness. Rupa Goswami has analyzed the difference. So Rupa Goswami, what he has analyzed the different source of happiness. He has divided the happiness in what? In 3 categories. Please underline this word. Number 1, the first happiness derived from material enjoyment. There's 3 types of happiness only. Number 2, happiness derived from identifying oneself with the Supreme Brahman. And number 3 is happiness derived from Krishna consciousness. What does that mean? The first thing is the happiness derived from material enjoyment. Being a successful person, having a big car, big house, a fantastic, strong bank balance. That's a kind of happiness. Materialistic people. Second is when they start to think that they are one with the Supreme Brahman, they start to feel they are God. That's the second kind of happiness. And the third kind of happiness is that comes from Krishna consciousness. So therefore, there's 3 types of happiness. But now, Yata Tantre, okay, it's mentioned in, Yata Tantre. What is Tantre? Yata Tantre means, okay. Now, Siddhaya Paramascharya Bhuktir Muktischa Shashya Shashvati Nityam Cha Paramanando Bhaved Govinda Bhaktitaha Siddhaya Paramascharya bhuktir muktischa shashvati, nityam cha paramanando, bhavet govinda bhaktitaha. In the Tantra Sastra, yeah, Yatta Tantra. Okay, that's called Tantra. Okay, the Tantra Sastra, or in other words, the Tantra Sastra, Lord Shiva speaks to his wife Sati. All right. Now, who is speaking? Lord Shiva speaking to his wife Shakti, Parasakti, right? So, Lord Shiva speaks to his wife Shakti in this way. My dear wife, please underline this. Okay. He says, my dear wife, person who has surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Govinda and who has thus developed pure Krishna consciousness can be very easily awarded all the perfection desired by the impersonalists, and beyond this, he can enjoy the happiness achieved by pure devotees. See, in Tantra is the place where they talk about all these kind of Mayavadi and all this kind of what they call occult practice and everything, right? So now then Lord Shiva is explaining to Mother Sakti about what is Tantra, what is how to do this kind of black magic, how to do, okay, how to merge into the light, merge into that thing. But in conclusion, he says, in the conclusion, he said, finally, what he said? Finally, he said that a person who has, number one, the one who have surrendered, right? Siddhaya Paramascharya. So that means Siddhaya, that means it's a kind of a Siddhi, which is supreme, Parama, right? So there's those who surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Govinda, Govinda Bhaktita, and who has thus developed pure Krishna consciousness, that is called Siddhaya. That means perfected consciousness, Siddhi. Perfected Krishna consciousness can be easily awarded all perfection. All right, even that desired by impersonalists. What is that? Mukti and bhukti, right? So the mukti is something that desired by the impersonalists. They want to merge. So that means they can award it all perfection desired by the impersonalists. And not only that, even beyond that. All right, that he can enjoy happiness. So nityam, permanent. Permanent paramananda, happiness. Permanent happiness. That means he can enjoy happiness achieved in pure, achieved by the pure devotees. Bhavet. Siddhaya Paramascharya, Bhuktir Muktista Shashvati, Nityam, permanent, Cha, Paramanando, great happiness. Bhavet, Govinda Bhaktita, only by being a Bhakta of Govinda, pure devotees of Govinda, Bhaktita, a pure devotee of devotees, pure devotee of Govinda. Again, Siddhaya Paramascharya, Bhuktir Muktischa Shashvati, Nityam Cha, Paramanando, Bhavet, derived by Govinda Bhaktas, Govinda Bhaktitaha. So, a person has surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Govinda, who has thus developed pure Krishna consciousness, Siddhaya, Siddhi, and can easily awarded all perfection, Bhuktir Muktis, Mukti, all perfection that desired by the impersonalists, Mukti. And beyond these, he also enjoy happiness, Paramanando. That by who will she? Happiness achieved by pure devotees, Govinda Bhakta. So happiness now. So happiness derived from pure devotional service is the highest, because you know why? It is eternal. You know, it's the highest achievement. Sometimes we say, okay, I am involved in this kind of, say, like I'm involved in insurance industry. My highest achievement is what? MDRT, $1 million round table, court of the table, above the table, or something like court of the COT, court of the table. Yes, that's the highest achievement. So once I achieve the highest perfection as an insurance agent, that means I'm not MDRT, but I'm COT, the highest rank. But if after you achieve that, for the next 6 months, if you're not going to bring in any new cases, if you're not going to bring in any new business to the company, you can be terminated, even if you are a COT. Even you are a COT, top of the table, sorry, TOT is the top, highest TOT. MDRT, COT, TOT, yes. Because for me, I was a unit manager with the insurance industry. So that means even you do that, even if you don't maintain your standard, your quota, you're not bringing in new business for the next 6 months to 1 year, something like that. They give you a warning letter. 1 year, if you don't perform, zero performance, you still don't go out and meet people, talk to them and sell insurance, you can be terminated. All the income can be stopped at once. It cannot be inherited to your children. It is not eternal. You got it. But here, the happiness that derives from pure devotion is the highest because it is eternal. Once you go there, you stay there forever. How long? Eternity. That's why in Bhakti Vinod Thakur is explaining, for a devotee, there's no past, no future. You can have any nasty past. You can have a very bad past. Or once upon a time, you are a crazy person, drunkard, or you just name it, like you can do everything. But once you become a devotee, all that is taken away from your memory. When we start to think back all our old memory, we feel disgusted. Actually, I ate that meat. Oh my God. Actually, I ate that pork skin. Oh, yuck. You don't even want to think about it. If you don't even want to think about it, and what is that to lament about it? You know, oh, I should have done that. Oh, you made a big mistake. Che, disgusting. I don't want to think about it. And secondly, the future, the devotee don't aspire anything for the future. What is going to happen tomorrow, day after tomorrow? No. Every moment is the moment of pure bliss. We are engaging in Krishna consciousness. We are reading about it. We are chanting about it. We are working. Even you are working in whatever job that you are involved in. You are dovetailing everything to Krishna. Even you are working as an engineer, as a doctor, as whatever your nurse, whatever job that you are involved, even that job gives you job satisfaction because you don't have any expectation. And whatever result you may get in that from your job, you're going to simply surrender it to Krishna. You're going to offer it to Krishna. And whatever things that you're taking, you're just taking it as a remnant or prashadam. Prashadam means what? Prashad, mercy. Prashad means, so you're taking all the, right? So like that. So it is the highest eternal. So the happiness derived from material perfection or understanding oneself to be Brahman is inferior because it's temporary. Right? Even if you go to the highest level of material understanding, that is think that you are not this body, but you are a Brahman, you want to merge with the Lord, that also correct, but it is temporary. There is no preventing one's falling down from this material. There is no preventing one's falling down from material happiness. And there is even every chance of falling down from the spiritual happiness. Right? So that means in material happiness, there's no term falling down. Example, you are standing on the floor. How can you fall down? You're already at the floor. You understand what I mean? So that means, in other words, okay, I'll give you an example. Say now you are in this first platform. You fall down, that's the final platform. That means from here, you fall here. All right, you fall here. But if you are here, if you are situated here, where are you going to fall? You're already at the bottom. Where are you going to fall? So the materialistic people are here. So there's nowhere they can fall. But for those who are in Brahma, that means those who go one step higher, understanding Brahma, these people then have got a very high chance of falling down. Okay, I hope you all follow me, eh? Right? Okay. Now, okay. So, falling down from the spiritual happiness, derive out of identifying oneself with the supreme Brahma, impersonal Brahman. He can fall down. It has been seen that the great Mayavadi impersonalists, sannyasis, very highly educated and almost realized soul, may sometimes take to the political activity or social welfare activities. You know, sometimes you see the one who are so perfected sannyasi can get into politics, like what happened in Uttar Pradesh, right? Yogi Aditya or something like that. You know, the chief minister of Maharashtra, if I'm not mistaken, or Gujarat or Maharashtra, or the chief minister. He's a what? He's a yogi. So like that. So he can go into social activities, and the reason is that they actually do not derive ultimate transcendental happiness in the impersonal understanding, and therefore must come down to material platform and take to such mundane affairs. There are many instances, especially in India, where these Mayavadi sannyasi descend to the material platform again. But a person who is fully in Krishna consciousness will never return to any sort of material platform. However alluring and attractive that can be, he always knows there's no material welfare activities can compare to the spiritual activities in Krishna consciousness. Now we may think, hey, I know a devotee who do that. A devotee was so advanced, suddenly they became a businessman. A devotee was so advanced, suddenly they can become a politician. How is that so? But here we are mentioning a pure devotee. All right? Even a devotee who come down, they'll work out, they go back to their platform. They will never stay in their position forever. All right? They don't hold the post until the rest of their life. Okay? The mystic perfection achieved by actual success of yogi are 8 in number. Right? Okay, I think this is another important topic is coming up. Okay. All right. This is quite an elaborate explanation. I think this one we do it tomorrow. Now, because 10:47, because to start this and to stop immediately is not a good idea. Because here we're going to talk about all kind of this thing, like, you know, yoga siddhi. Okay, anima, and then anima siddhi. Then there's around 8 siddhis, if I'm not mistaken. Mystic yoga achieve yoga, 8 in number, yes, 8 siddhis. So there's explanation. So the one we do it tomorrow. All right. So please mark your book where we stop. The mystic perfection achieved. Okay. Please mark the book in page 11. Page 11. So we're going to start tomorrow with the thing, the mystic perfection achieved by actual success yogis are 8 in number. Have you all marked the book? All right. So we discuss this tomorrow. So now let's open for questions. Do you have any questions? All good? Okay. Is it the message is too heavy until everyone becomes so silent today? Of course, this is a heavy message. I agree with you. Because this heavy message, in the sense we can appreciate it, you know. After the goal of studying this book, end of the day, that you are going to become a pure devotee of the Lord in a practical manner. Okay. Page 11. Page 11. Page 11. Right. Okay. So if there's no question, we end here. Thank you so much for coming and joining our discussion today. We're going to continue again tomorrow at same time, 9 o'clock to 11. Till then, have a nice day. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha padittanam pavinebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Have a nice day.